we're the only ones who get to decide how we want to live from now on. And in our new lives, there's no space for you. Fake or real, it's time we buried our past for good. What impudence.
Know your place!
Okay, that's trickier. New Brave Order analysis complete. Oh, interesting. Uh, 4S seems pretty good on her at the moment.
Time to entertain my guests! Round and round! Up you go! Time for the main event!
I feel like getting that order is telling me to be
What
super
a delightful tea
offensive.
party! It's me!
That adds up. Oh, look at that beautiful 50% fucking heal. Oh my goodness.
Now then.
That's interesting.
My reign is... He's gone!
It hit me.
Doing this in 40 turns. That feels like that's gonna be tricky.
What impudence. Know your place!
On it.
No.
Ready?
It's me!
I'll take care of it.
Ready?
Very well. All for one. Yay!
All right.
How plain.
Yeah!
Can you withstand this?
On it. Hip!
I've had it up to here. Let me out! I'm it. Initiating drive.
Okay,
Too bad.
ready? They're down!
My reign is as the...
Close! On it.
On guard. Perk up!
You deserve some praise.
Ready? Keep at it! Cut him! Okay. All for one? No choice.
Oh, monarch
Uh-oh.
Regalion,
Uh-oh.
gift me glory!
Oh, fuck.
Be crushed before me! Your time is up! Geo Ragnarok!
That's fine. Ooh.
I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Kill.
Back tenfold.
It hit me.
I'll take care of it. I shall leave this to you.
Let me at him.
Appreciate
Why,
it.
thank you.
On it. They're down!
No problem.
Tools such as you should know your place!
Ready?
And he got on freaking whatever.
Okay. On it. Yep.
My turn.
Oh, I feel like I'm just woefully underpowered at the moment. That feels like the most likely explanation behind, well,
Initiating
everything.
drive.
I don't think I'm not going to make the 40 turns.
My new
I feel like
Ready?
there's like no chance of that.
Yep.
Guard?
Oh, Monarch!
Hit me. It's me.
Appreciate
it. Thank you. My turn. Initiating drive.
Okay.
My new BFF.
Okay. Keep at it!
No problem. Very well. Here I go. Why?
Yeah,
thank
there's no
you.
chance I'm going to make the 40 turns. Yeah, I sort of had a feeling this would end up being the case. Where, like, the requirements, maybe if I had, like, a very specific strategy that also didn't require me to reload and go through, like, 3 fights, then it would then, like, maybe I could, like, go set up people differently, maybe. That might be a good way to go about it, but in the moment, no.
Very well. You're it.
I accept. Arcus, activate.
It's me. Very well. I left some for you. I'm it.
Ready?
My reign is as...
Ready? They're down!
Got you. My turn.
It's a little risky.
Here I go.
Ready? On it. No choice.
What?
My new BFF. How shall we play? You
Appreciate it.
deserve some praise.
On it.
My turn.
No impede. Does she have impede? I
You're
don't
it.
remember.
If
She also
you
doesn't have CP,
insist.
so that doesn't really matter. Never mind. She didn't have impede anyways. Whoops.
All for one, and one for all. Welcome to my...
Oh, that's it? That's it?
Payback!
That's
Got
it?
you!
I thought you had better than that.
My reign is as the blade cuts.
On it. Okay. Keep at it.
No problem.
Interesting. I shall leave this to you.
I'm it. I shall. Very
Ooh,
well.
absorb even. That's fun.
Here I go. Very well.
That's a really fucking good. 5 turns of large stat boost on everything is really good. For 2 BP.
My turn now. It's not oh.
Ready? Here. You're down. Here.
What?
I shall. Here I go. It's me.
Ready? They're down.
No problem. Now then. Wide open.
Asking for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What folly!
Okay.
No.
Oh, Monarch's regalia!
That's not good.
I said
Sorry.
I'd keep her safe.
My turn. Initiating drive. How troublesome. Gleam. How troublesome. Arcus activate. Ha! I shall. Initiating drive. Play with me?
Yeah, I didn't get anywhere fucking close to 40 turns. And it... very interesting.
Well then... Bye-bye!
This is absurd! How could I...
The battle is over. Now let's proceed.
So, my thought process on it is still... if it felt like the game was balanced in a way that... well, again, there was the whole thing about, like, getting back to the fight, which would have been annoying. If I felt like the game was balanced in a way that I could... there's also the fact that, honestly, none of my people here are, like, low turn counts. Swin, fast, multiple turns to get the mark off and crit. Slow art defense, sort of tanky. Lapis, I don't really have the others set up for specific strategies. I don't have that really set up to be super hyper offensive in a way that has a low turn count. For any of them, really. With that said, it's hard to experiment when there are multiple fights in between, and it's also hard to know if I'm even in a place where this is, like, viable for me to be able to do it in that many turns. Because, like, Nadia is still at 112, technically. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, really. So it becomes very demotivating to go back and try to do these if, like, you don't even know if it's, like, balanced to definitely be doable at that point. Like all the previous games where you had a much more linear progression. And there is a tendency for, like, just fighting the battles, it'll level you up to the level that you really should be in that time. Maybe you're a little bit off, but if you're not, like, grinding and whatnot. Particularly, like, Crossbell onwards, I felt like they did a really good job of, like, making sure you felt like you're in a place where you definitely could do it. This game, as much as I like the concept, it does not motivate me to go for those extra things. And if there ends up being something I miss from it, I will just look it up on YouTube, ultimately. I'm sure someone knows enough about what I'm missing by the time the game ends. Someone can tell me, hey, you can go look for this when you're done, as a little thing, if I do miss it. I don't know if I'll miss it. Maybe. Either way.
It's only natural.
But of course.
Even perfection can...
I cannot. Not here. I will not allow it.
Did we win?
Yeah.
Didn't expect him to be a machine.
Do you think the Supreme Leader is one too? Well, Rufus?
Who knows? I can only at most confirm I have no long-lost twin. Or some such thing.
I mean, there's no reason to believe otherwise at this point. We've had some of the other, like, indications that weird stuff's going on. It's very interesting that you, the reason that I thought it might be like an alternate universe thing was because it felt like, oh, these are a lot like these people, but they're slightly different. Then again, with that in mind, we are actually introducing that the Emperor here, as a copy with his memories, does have stuff slightly different. That's the, like, Nadia's whole thing there, right?
Still, some machine, huh? None of the Professor's humanoid toys hold a candle to this one.
Must you be so critical of my work?
It's a ghost!
No, it's not. Probably.
Did you watch then? Enjoy the show?
How could I resist the urge? And it was so very fascinating, thank you. Still, if I might offer a rebuttal to your comment, the toys you mentioned were only meant to be that. Toys. And I poured my heart into them. I could have fashioned something with a little more flair. I confess, however, that a replica of his caliber is beyond my creative expertise.
Oh, so you're admitting that you're not the one to have made the actual, like, robots.
Not that I find it regrettable. I don't see any point in creating one in the first place.
Okay, who's the mastermind then behind all that?
We're dealing with technology even the professor can't replicate. But then...
Would you be Professor F. Novartis, supervisor of the 13 factories?
Oh, forgive me. Have I not introduced myself? You're right, of course. If you don't mind my adding that I am also the 6th Enguis. Oh, I do wish we could have met earlier, but alas, the chance never presented itself during the Great Twilight.
Indeed. Although I much appreciated your technical support at the time.
I feel like I'm going to be arrested just for listening to this.
Lloyd bust in. Yep.
We might be better off not getting buddy-buddy with him. No one ever is.
It is funny though, isn't it? First I aided you, and now I am aiding the other you.
I hope you're not claiming to be the mastermind behind the Supreme Leader in Crossbell. You aren't, are you?
Oh, don't be silly. I have shared my technical know-how, but the rest is out of my hands. Even if I were to help, the result would be the same. They just have to put a little less back into it, thanks to my assistance.
Was your assistance in exchange for benefiting the Society's schemes in some manner?
Oh, no, not at all. Our hand in Crossbell and Erebonia largely ended with the conclusion of the rivalries. This is me acting out of intellectual curiosity.
Okay, so it's not an Ouroboros scheme. Huh. Who the else fuck could be like be the driving force here? Okay. I'm trying to think of who even would still be around to be a driving force.
The Grand Master has no part in this.
You just do what you want, don't you? Although, I can't really talk. The heart wants what it wants, right?
Oh, indeed. And you couldn't blame me with this one. I never expected someone's preferred method of contacting me to be through reverse engineering the astral code.
Huh?
What? How is that possible?
Nope. Someone give context. Any bit of context. Give me a string.
And now you understand why I couldn't pass up this opportunity. I agreed to help for the best seat to what has yet to unfold.
To summarize your position, Professor, your alignment with my replica is for personal reasons, and you have no intention of doing us harm on his behalf.
But perfectly willing to do us harm on his own behalf. On the professor's behalf of his own, bullshitting.
Is that correct?
Very succinct. I wouldn't want to interfere too much and distort the results of this experiment.
Then it seems we have no problems.
So, Professor, you've piqued my interest. Won't you tell us an itsy-bitsy more about what has you so fascinated? I'd simply love to know.
Why, gladly. It's been a long time since something's excited me this much. Though not unlike a singularity at present, it's what comes later that will...
Wait. Singularity. Are you talking about, like, AI singularity, or are you talking about, like, a black hole singularity?
How careless of me.
Oh. AI singularity seems like the most likely thing. Singularity. Is there any other meetings I'm not thinking of? Center of a black hole, point of infinite distance gravity, and an object. Escape the current announcement. Yep. Technological singularity, or simply the singularity's hypothetical future point in time, which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable consequences. Oh my goodness, that is so similar to the... That is actually sort of really similar to a theory I said before. By concept, if I like AI singularity, sort of what hit in my head, but technological singularity, just checking it up. Yeah, no, that actually is a broader concept. Now that I'm like reading on it and remembering stuff about it, AI is just sort of like the thing that you typically put at its source, because AI is sort of the thing that gives it a voice enough to be uncontrollable, right? Oh, okay. So if we're talking about another group that could be at the driving force of this in the middle, probably want to go back for any hints of it being that, like, sort of... Oh, that thing at the very beginning, like in the prologue with Lloyd and them, like, it like had the whole TV screen thing, and there was something going on. Did that say Project Babel there? I don't remember. And these games have become so dense on the lore that's like, you sort of need to keep notes if you want to remember stuff. I don't like taking notes though, so fuck it. But either way, that would be very interesting if it went sort of in that direction of like, ooh, because that was like not my like theory for this game. That was like my theory for like the series in general. And I guess if it doesn't have to do with Ouroboros, then maybe it doesn't have to do with the series in general, and that may actually refute the idea of my theory on the series in general.
As much as I'd love to elucidate, I think I've already said too much.
Why? Maybe we could help. Maybe if you get us excited, we'd help. Come on.
Oh, what a shame.
Now then, I think it's time I wrap this up. Oh, but what you're looking for just so happens to be on the other side of those doors. Seeing as I'm looking after Meister Rosenberg's studio in his absence, I would be a poor sport if I didn't point you in the right direction.
Did he ask you to look after all these renovations you made too?
Until another day. I'm very eager to see your future accomplishments.
So on the other side is...
I am way more interested in what he was talking about, though.
Let's go.
I will say, the fact that the main themes around the story here seem to be identity and what it means to be human and whatnot. If we get into like a technological AI-type singularity is like sort of the main driving thing behind this. That all ties together. Now, a black hole singularity would be really interesting, too. Oh, what did he say?
I feel like I know this place.
He said it's... No. What exactly did he say? It's not unlike a singularity at present. So it's not necessarily a singularity. That's what comes later that will... Oh, I'm so intrigued by all of that. Fuck game, you pulled me back in. Not that I was gone in any capacity, but like, ooh.
Are your memories starting to come back?
It's the sort of thing that makes me just want to keep playing this all fucking day.
Not quite. I don't remember being here. I just know this place.
Maybe this is where you were made.
So here's where our LP was born, huh?
I suppose if we're going to find the data we seek anywhere, it will be here.
I've never seen machines like this in my life.
Yeah. I don't have the first clue on how to operate this stuff.
Don't worry. You have me. If the data we want is still here, I'll restore it for us. Though to do that...
Have you made up your mind?
Yes. I'm ready. No matter what we find, it won't change who I am, right?
Yep, everyone is evolving day by day. Becoming new versions of themselves as new experiences, old experiences, everything coalesces into the form that it is on that day. No need to fear moving forward, as you'll be changing the choice. The choice to not decide is still a choice to make. I don't remember the exact wording of it. It's song lyrics I'm quoting there.
You'll find me no matter what happens.
If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. That's the phrasing I'm thinking of.
That I will.
Mind getting ready for me?
All right.
There we go. Done. How are you feeling? You didn't forget us or anything, did you?
I haven't. I feel fine, and I remember you just fine.
Phew.
But hardly any of my memories have returned.
So there might not have been many there to get.
Did we just waste our time coming here then?
Oh, it wasn't a waste. My memory bank is inside of me, but it's been locked. And I know the key to unlocking it. We just need to go and see someone called Ian, and then I'll be able to remember everything.
Oh, wait. Isn't there's only one, wasn't Grimwood's first name Ian?
Ian?
Do I know any Ians?
If that's what we need to do, then our next destination is set.
Was that his name? I think that was his name, Ian Grimwood. I could be remembering that entirely wrong. Why didn't they act on a bunch of fucking artifacts just sitting there? That would be a dumb thing for us to just leave and forget and not do anything about. Oh, okay. Okay, we have two very consequential act endings. Okay, so what we know is that this isn't Ouroboros. We know that there's something vaguely similar to, at least conceptually, surface level, at minimum, similar to a singularity of some capacity. Usually when you say singularity, you're referring to either the physical black hole and type 1 or the more overall societal concept of technological, which often includes AI and that sort of stuff. When we're dealing with a Dao with a mind and the whole discussions of souls and identities and simulacron, whatever they called it, the robots with the memories imparted on them to make them basically the same. Oh, interesting. Like, that all feels like that adds up, especially with the thematic elements that seem to be driving them, which is honestly feels like the main story, Rufus's story here. It does feel like it is the main story, right? So also the thing that drives the thematic sort of through line of like the actual like concept here, right? Every single character in it has some sort of existential identity crisis. Nadia and Swin are people that weren't treated as people and are trying to grab onto an identity and sort of sense of self that they feel like they're owed, basically. Their story might end in a way where they discover like, we are us. Doesn't matter if you call us tools or humans or whatever, that means shit. They've been through a lot of that already. But they might find that they're trying to chase after an ideal of what it means to live. That is different than what they... and I guess I really wouldn't say this really is something that I've seen them trying to do very much. So I'm not really sure it's going to go that hard in this direction for them. But their story sort of like is like, you're being treated as something that you aren't, basically, for the longest time, and that's sort of defined your identity for a long time. So you're trying to grasp onto something that you consider an ideal relative to that. I don't really feel like they have like a specific ideal that they've outlined in a way that thematically would make sense as to set up that sort of a lesson. They sort of just like, yeah, we want to live as humans, without any like asterisk on what that means to be human. They haven't really brought that up, so I'm not sure they're going to go that direction, but that's sort of like the natural flow of the storytelling that I'm sort of seeing in that sort of story that they could do if they expand upon it a little more. They really wouldn't have to add that much detail into it outside of like adding the sort of like idealized element of it. All you have to do is like to add an idealized element of it from a writing perspective is introduce the idea like they're trying to live as humans, and for some reason they feel like they're not doing it successfully. All you need to, and I don't really feel like we've gotten that end of the bargain where it feels like they feel like they're not doing it successfully, which would imply an ideal that they're not living up to. Whatever that ideal is for what quote-unquote human is. And then they can learn a lesson in that way. Lapis is probably pretty obvious in what that means. It's sort of potentially a parallel specifically to all the other stuff that's going on in terms of the robots and whatnot and what that means. Rufus, the delving into like his identity crisis as all that stuff as just like a human that had expectations set for themselves and not living up to it, sort of the opposite of Swin and Nadia, right? The identity crisis that way. And I feel like they've already sort of put their they're sort of wearing their answer on their sleeve at the moment in terms of like what the answer to the thematic question of what does it mean to be a person or to be who you are. And the answer is, it feels like maybe I'm reading too much into it because I have strong opinions on this myself. The answer is you are you. Don't get caught up in all this stuff that tries to define you outside of it. That sort of stuff. You are you. If you try to define yourself by some external method of doing that, you're going to end up creating insecurities by creating that contrast, basically. Expectations set upon yourself via that will almost always result in some semblance of mental health deterioration, I guess, is generally what I think. Obviously, like, there will end up being cultural stuff and whatnot in identity. I say that from like a more like real life perspective. Identity is something everyone deals with at a constant at a constant time. And it's a lot harder thing to deal with when you're an out group, a minority group in some capacity, right? Because the things you identify with and whatnot are not considered the alternative. And you can sort of apply that to Rufus, Lapis, and Swin and Nadia a bit too, I imagine. It's a matter of expectations and how society has set you up as you were supposed to be. Where Swin and Nadia were sort of denied being part of the norm, and they just sort of want to be part of the norm. Lapis is worried about the differences between her and the norm. She doesn't necessarily see her as that, but she sees it as like some gap that may not be, as per the soul conversation, overcome. Rufus is a bit different in like, he is much more within the norm of people, but he wants to be above it because that's like the expectation he set for himself. It's all a very interesting psychological conversation that I think they hit in a lot of ways so far. Basically, this is to say, I think I really like the writing for this group at the moment because they really do feel like they're hitting like a very distinct theme from a lot of different good perspectives, as well as tying it into a greater story that feels like it's always also tying to that. And I feel like it's really coming together by this point. So I've really enjoyed that. So yeah, particularly this route, I think like the writing is really rock solid. What else to think? Speculation on where the game's going to go. Honestly, at this point, it's hard to think like all these people and whatnot aren't just robots. And really the question is, actually, here's a thought. So we have been introduced to the Reverie corridor, right? I don't know what the astral code is. I really sort of wish that they gave a little bit more context on that. I don't know if it's been mentioned previously. Thinking about it, the Reverie corridor feels like it's being run by like an AI of some sorts. What if the Reverie corridor made the simulacron? Maybe? Or something else. Like, so if we're talking about singularity, so basic, okay, I think I jumped ahead a few steps. My thought process was the real mystery behind what's happening feels, one, the lore implications behind the singularity mention and whatnot, and two, who's really sort of the mastermind of this. And that brought me to the thought, hey, if this is like, who even is out there to be a mastermind at this point? It's basically Ouroboros, and then outside of that, who the fuck knows? Because, like, Black Workshop, gone. 13 Factories, that's Novartis. He's saying he's not involved. He's helping. For this, like, technological stuff. EBF definitely doesn't have, like, some random magical genius that can just do all this out of nowhere. I'd be really surprised if they tried to do that. So you're sort of left with this state where it feels like if they're going to have another mastermind, it's going to have to be something new, right? And if you want it to come across as like something that doesn't feel sort of out of left field, something related or something that's already been introduced, something related to something that's been introduced or something that's been introduced would be the sort of like natural method of doing that. And we've sort of, the one thing that immediately came to mind as I was having that thought process was the Reverie corridor, sort of like AI simulation setup and algorithm Black Mirror sort of thing going on. So almost like maybe the actual reference to a singularity is more the idea that you have some sort of artificial intelligence of some form that has gotten to the point that it is capable of creating these robots and replacing people, which would be really interesting, I think. Either way, I think that's basically where it's just, I'm rambling speculation-wise at this point, so I think I can probably leave it there. I guess thoughts on gameplay is, yeah, I'm sort of in that place where my motivation to go for all the RP stuff is very low for the reasons I mentioned before too, so it'll be what it is. So, with that in mind, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.